Hello and welcome to part 3 of this three-part series where I'm working on this digital painting called Mountain Ruins. And in this part here we're going to finish it about within an hour here. We're going to have some time lapse and some real time, a mixture of the both. And yeah, that's about it. Let's just get started. So right here, what happened last time is I did the foreground area here and over here, and I started working on the dragon. So you see the dragon still looks kind of rough, but these parts in the foreground, I think they're about done. They're about ready to go. Actually, I think this part over here is going to be the status quo for the level of detail and the style that I want for the rest of the painting. I don't know why this part came together so quickly, but it did. And in the back part here, I'll just have to work on it to make the level of detail match that as it is over here. And dragon needs a little more detail, so we'll do that today. I'll go into time lapse in a minute and just going to do all that detail. Before I do that, I just wanted to point out that I noticed there's a little bit of a compositional oddity in this one where there's a lot of lines over here that if you follow the path of these lines, and even the dragon wing here and just around here, there just seems to be this slope, whereas like this whole part of the painting is just melting off into the side. And I'm not sure why that happened, but it does happen sometimes. It's just something that happens when you're not paying attention. It could have been the early compositional phases where I was just drawing stuff around, put this here, put that there, and my hand just got lazy, and because of that foundation, that one little line in the beginning, that kind of got lazy, and here we are later on where the painting's almost finished and it still has that kind of thing to it. So that goes to show why the early stages of composition and the early sketching stages can be really important. You should try and notice that. Luckily it's a digital painting and I can just go ahead and touch some stuff up, so it's not that big of a deal, and I'm going to do that today too. So I'm going to work on the details all throughout and make everything even and balanced. I'm going to work on that weird compositional, what do you call that, just kind of a slant or a melting off to the side there. I'm not sure what that happened. And then we'll do then I'll just do an overall finish up, the finishing art, where maybe we'll push back, see what we can do to get some more depth and special lighting effects and stuff like that. Okay, so let's start off with a time lapse on just a bunch of the detail stuff, and I'll do that in pretty high speed, so I should be back in just a minute, and you can enjoy the time lapse. I'll be right back. Okay, that's enough time lapse, and I'll just go into regular mode here, real time. I just did a little bit of work on that part there. Let me see if I'm on the right layer. Wouldn't kill me to have a little bit more shade over on this side here, going down into the distance, like that. Yeah. It's going, well, it's just going off into the distance, basically. This side, let me experiment. I'm going to turn the opacity down. If I were to just go crazy on this side and fill in a bunch of darkness over there, I think that would be okay. Yeah. Looks like it's the dark side of the cliff anyway, so no reason not to make it dark. There's some reflective light. A lot of light is bouncing around this area here, and that would probably come over. Imagine like when you look at a sphere, it kind of like the light will be sharp at one point and it'll just gradually go around, wrap around the ball. So that same effect is going to happen here. I have a little bit of a spherical kind of thing going on because it's kind of a mound of dirt. Okay. So I mean, yeah, like what I did there in the video, this kind of stuff, when you zoom in, you can see it's really kind of like scribble, but when you zoom out, it gives a suggestion for the eye that you know, that there's some kind of like vines and stuff going on and just crawling up the mountains there. For me right now, that's just enough. That's okay. It gets the point across. Maybe I hate when I hit that key. If at the wrong time I hit that key, then it starts to rotate like that, and I can't rotate it back. Wait, how do I get? Yeah. Every time I have to go through this. Alright, so I'm going to hit this key like 10 times, go all the way around in a circle, get back to where I was, and there's a delay. Although it's kind of fun to spin around like that. Helps me to look at it with different points of view, I guess. Okay. Alright, so remember not to hit that key when I'm in the color picker. And so, yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so these vines and stuff, at least I know what it is, and later on I can go back in there and detail it if I wanted to. What I would do is just, you know, get some highlights in here and make like leaves, my opacities down. Just do like little spots to represent leaves and stuff like this. And the point was on the left side I would put these highlights, and on the right side I would, you know, make it darker. So there, it just looks like there's some shading behind some brush. Alright, so now back to the dragon. I'm pretty much happy with this area here. I'm happy with the foreground, and I mean there's some detail that could be done here and there, but I can always do that later. As far as like the video is concerned here, I just wanted to wrap this up. So one thing about, let's say like the dragon doesn't have legs. Does that matter right now? You could have a leg here, a leg there, and his arms could be tucked in somewhere like this. But that's also kind of weird because now it looks like, you know he's in a fetal position or something. What is you know, a cool looking way for the dragon? I always thought dragons are cool when they're like grabbing something or sitting down. Maybe if like one leg is off this way, the other this way. Yeah, sometimes I'm not quite sure where to put those arms. I don't know. So I'm almost hesitant to just leave him like that, but then he's just like snake dragon. Nah, I can't do that. Okay. So I'll put one leg up here, and the other one will be, I guess, over on the other side. Look like it's grabbing out a little bit like that. Yeah. And another just hands up here. So it'll just be a suggestion of hands and stuff. Good enough, I guess. So I was happy with how it was, but it just dawned on me suddenly, wait, he doesn't have legs, and you know, at some point in time somebody's going to be like, what is he, like snake dragon or something, like where's his legs? And then, yeah, I'd feel dumb. So I'm going to put some legs in there. See what we have here is individual fingers coming out. Again, remember this stuff will be zoomed, like will be zoomed out. I'm zooming in. So that stuff is it's not too important. I don't have to worry too much about it. Here, you won't really see that arm. I'm happy about the parts where his arms will just disappear back into his blackness, into, like, you know, the darkness, the shadow of his belly here, because that's what I want to do. I don't really want to have to draw all of his hands. Yeah, I don't even want to have to draw this one, really. The way this is here, I don't like it. Maybe this hand, this arm is just like up over here or something. Yeah, that's good enough. So now I can use this color on the outside to show a bit of a color around the leg where it's coming up here, a little muscle, tiny bit of muscle tone, and it should be good enough. So I didn't want to go crazy with the legs to begin with, so good enough. I'm happy with that. Okay, so then what else did we need to do with the dragon to make it look complete? I guess, I don't know. It's still, like, if you go into full screen mode here, it's still not that, even if I zoom out, it's not like you can't make out where his head and eyes should be, so it wouldn't be that bad, I guess. If I were to go in here, let me grab some of these yellow. Let's just say his eyes should be about here. Whoops. Am I in erase mode, or which mode am I? Yeah, I was in erase mode. Okay. So let me draw that in. And then just make out something like the eyes, where the mouth should be. Maybe it has kind of a interesting chin. Something, not horns here, but like something that goes back, kind of like ears, some kind of fixture back there. Okay, we can use some of this yellow color and show it reflecting. I need like super bright yellow though, or else it'll fade away. Reflecting off all the edges here. For me, that's good enough. I kind of feel happy with that. All I want to do is blend out some of this. Well, I kind of want to blend out this area here in his wings, because now it just looks like scratches. But I like the scratches there because they also kind of represent a little bit of the feeling of what would you call it? Just like some kind of texture in the wings. And the mixture of the colors in there is pretty cool. So I hate that. Okay, stop drawing. It's like an infinite draw mode now. Whoops. Sorry about that. Just had an alarm go off. Now I am stuck in draw mode. Cannot get out. Okay, there we go. That was just like crazy. My alarm goes off and yeah, I'm stuck in draw mode. All this stuff happened at once. And I'm going to leave that in the video. That's all great. Okay. So I went down to a lower opacity with the brush, and I'm just trying to, you know, smooth out some of the stuff that's going on around here, so it doesn't look so sketchy. Especially like this kind of stuff right here. This is, oh my god, I hit the button again. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it there. This kind of stuff here, I don't want it to look like there's just brush strokes going on in there, because they're not even brush strokes. Even if they were brush strokes, that'd be good. It's kind of just like these weird marks. Which part looks the worst? This one over here. There's a bit of pink in there. If I can get that out, the pink. It's like a pinkish red, which is kind of, actually kind of cool. It helps to smooth out some of the other parts there. I guess that'll work. I can't believe I hit that key again. Just spin it all the way around. See, I like the way that turned out, because now the dragon has this ominous kind of look to it. You can see how the light, oh my god, I hit it too many times. Now it won't stop spinning. Okay. This is really fun. Um, let's get back to where we were here. And one more. Okay. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to figure out what the key is to set that back where it belongs. Okay, so that turned out pretty good. I like how it's the dark, ominous thing with the halo going around him. I actually want to bring out that halo a little bit more, and I will do that. I think that's going to be part of the last step here. Yeah, just give me a break 1 second, and I'll be back in just a millisecond here, because what we're going to do now is pretty much, at this point, what I'm saying is I feel like it's done, at least done enough for my presentation purposes here. We're looking at a finished product that's presentable, it's good, and I just want to go and touch up some of the sky, the mountains, and do some like finishing stuff that makes it look kind of like you know, the lighting is all in the right place and stuff. So let's do that in just a second here. Okay, so I think we have just enough time left here where I can do a little work on the sky. Now that I start looking back at it, the mountainous area and the sky are very sketchy, which is okay. But yeah, I'm going to start off with these mountains. I'm on halfway opacity here, and I just want to just smooth it out a little bit so it doesn't look so much like a sketch. At least I can make the edges a little bit more finished off. And I think the light, they will need a little bit of lighting. The light from the sun, the you know, the light beams that are coming down there should also affect it a bit. Actually, I can go up to full opacity here, so I need to get some thick lines in there, a little bit whiter. Since this is snow on the mountains, on the top of the mountains here, it can reflect all different types of color from all different places, really. And yeah, I want to have a bit more variation in the shape, the ridges and stuff on the top of the mountain. So I'm going to start off at the top around here, and over here. I'm just trying to get rid of some of that sketchiness at the top. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, and then let's get just a very slightly darker color, but not with that green. I want something like just a gray, and for this I will turn the opacity down and try and do the other side of the mountain and some ridges and stuff in here, so you can see where the light is, well, where the light is not, basically. Show some shading. But notice I'm not using not even a black, I'm just using a gray on the white, and it's even at half opacity, so it's just, you know, it's kind of subtle. Yeah, but I do need to go into black because there's going to be different colors down here. I'll put that on ultra low opacity for this part here. Some parts might be a little bit darker than others, and the grooves will go around in different locations. Just like that. And for me, it's not pivotal that like each and every little, not every tiny little spot needs to be represented back here, because remember, well, I would hope that people aren't spending, when they look at this, they're not spending too much time looking back there even. It's just supposed to be a faint impression, something in the background, and leaving a little bit of the painterly feeling is actually what I'm going for here. I'm not going for the photorealism. So just to have it like that with a bit of an impression. Let me go down, lower opacity. Just give the impression that there's something back there, and you know what it is. It's mountains off in the distance, and that's good enough for me. There'll be some larger areas. Just make the brush bigger. I'll show you some larger areas here that are all covered in by the you know, the lack of light. So you get a little feeling there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I think that's good enough. So now a big problem I have here is with the sky. The sky, if I turn it off, you can see it was actually very important for the layer above it, which is the mountains here. Because the mountains, I don't know why they're just not in full opacity. I guess because I was just brushing it lightly, and so the two of them seem to blend together with each other. But some of that I don't like, because I don't like, I have some of these like random light beams. If you see, like this one here is going that way, light beam going that way, one going this way, and they're not not really communicating with each other. So what I'm going to do, let me see what that color is. That yellow, it's right about here. I get a little bit lighter version of it, and use this tool here and see if I can get them all to go in a similar pattern. I'm even going to just make another layer here, because some of these lights, yeah, they are actually, I need a really big brush, and the line tool doesn't do that kind of faint brush thing. Okay, so what I'll have to do is go to a low opacity here, do something like that. Even if they're not all going in the same exact direction, that's okay. Some light beams might shoot in different directions. When they, the way that they come through the clouds, bounce off in different ways. But I want to do it all in one quick stroke. I'm going to go to a super big brush here. That, I believe, is as big as it goes. Okay. I don't know if my computer might have just locked up. I don't know if the video locked up, but this the software locked up for a second, because I went to like the biggest brush that I have here. And again, I'm just trying to do one quick sweep to show the light coming over there. Okay, and that kind of gives the look that I was looking for. Some stuff I don't like, but I can go into erase mode here. Go like this. Might help a little. Certain areas. I want to show that like beams of light are coming through certain spots in the clouds. So I can erase some of the parts here that I don't need. That might work. Not too bad. Okay, so that was for that layer. That was for the background. And with that, I'd say the background is already, I mean, it has enough mist to it. But let's go ahead and on another layer, just to be safe, I'm going to put a bit more opacity on this. I got a pure white here. Make a super, is this even drawing? Not drawing, because, oh, I'm in erase mode. Okay. Right. And what am I trying to do? Basically what I'm trying to do, bring the opacity down even more. I'm just trying to push it back with kind of like mist. So go very low opacity here and just, yeah, taper it off like that so it looks like it's in the background. Now I want to do the same thing with another layer in front of this mountain area here, so you can see some more mist coming around. Just on a low opacity, and just kind of like tap around, try and push it back a little bit. And okay, and I'm even going to do that around this area here. Just push it back a little, kind of fade it out. And I put this on another layer because I'm not even sure if I want to keep it, but yep, it might be good. Makes things look a little bit more realistic. And I can even turn that layer down, back up a little. I think you get the point. I'm just saying that it's a little bit off in the distance. There's a little bit of a misty feeling to it because we're up in the mountains, and yeah, we just, by doing that, we kind of push it back a little bit. Not too bad. Okay. That might be about it. I mean, for me, now that I'm looking at it, I just want to see what are the details as I move my eye around. Where do I feel like there might be something missing? You try and get that brush out of the way. Yeah, the dragon could use a little bit more detail. I mean, now that I have it in full zoom like this, there's, I mean, tons and tons of work I could do. I could spend a lot of hours on it. But I feel like it's pretty cool how it is, just like this too. Not too bad. Get my brush back. What if I miss this out a little bit more? Make this seem a little bit more off in the distance. Yep. So now you can see the colors in the foreground in this area here. You have darker darks and lighter lights, so it really brings it out into the foreground. And then as you go off into the background, it gets a bit more misty. What about the dragon? I don't know. I could do this around him. This will actually bring him out a bit more. I might want to fuzz him out a bit too. Let me get back to where I was. And so in front of the dragon, put one more layer here. You gotta be careful with these layers, because if you use too much, the brush, can I put the opacity down on the brush? Oh, that is the brush. Then how about on the layer? Well, let's just see what happens. No, I don't like that. That basically just made him blurry. If I do it all in one sweep. Yeah, that kind of helps, like that. I just want him to be a bit more grayed out so it doesn't look like he's right up here in your face. Because, like I was saying before, the colors that are closer to us should be more vibrant. We have, darker dark. So if I made him with like really strong black, let's see if I turn this. Yeah, if he has darker shading than this guy here, then something's definitely wrong. He should be a bit more, fuzzed out, because he's supposed to be off in the distance, like miles away. From where this guy is here all the way off down into the distance there, it should be easily a mile, I'd say, because right here a person would only be like a little speck of dust right down there. Yeah. Although I don't really like how that mist came out. I'll just leave it like that. Yeah. Maybe down here, turn this mist off. Now, what I'll do with this one is turn the opacity down a little bit. Just like that. Probably good enough. Anyway, I'm going to play with that for a while. That's just the general idea of how I do all that stuff. And there's actually an experiment and a learning experience for me too. Not necessarily how you should do things, but I think a lot of the stuff I do here is pretty standard. It's traditional painting style. The way that colors and values work from the close-up into the distance, and the various ways that you can just scribble in and mix the colors and the paints to get different types of textures and grooves around your environments and your objects and stuff. So that's that. Hope you enjoyed it. Here's a finished thing. If you're interested in getting a high resolution or a completed image, because I will work on this a little bit more before it's done, you can check out down below, look for links to my website or something. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.